Hey everybody, it's Coach Keller here again with ArizonaShortSaleTV.com. My partner Ryan is behind the camera here.
Hey
and we got a special guest today. This is Doug Sutton. He's the CEO/team leader here at our Keller Williams Realty East Valley office in Tempe, Arizona. How you doing, bro?
Doing great, man.
Right on. Good to have
Appreciate
you.
you having me. Yeah, absolutely.
You bet. I think you've got some interesting perspective to share with the consumers out there. You know, we like to talk to the consumer and educate and empower them. So, being in your position with what you do here, and you might even just share that a little bit with everybody so they know who you're, where you're coming from. But share with them what you do and your perspective on what the consumer should be asking and looking for in a potential agent when they hire somebody for a short sale.
Well, I appreciate you asking the question, Mark.
Right.
It's actually one of, unfortunately, it's one of the most challenging circumstances that any potential homeowner could go through, and not knowing what's next, not knowing what's going to happen with their life after they decide to short sell their home, or would they allow it to go into foreclosure, what's their best option. And I think it's critically important to make sure that the consumer has a very good understanding of the type of systems and experience and competencies that the agent that they're interviewing or considering working with has, relating specifically to the short sale process. There was a survey that was done recently, and this is before short sales were such a big part of the economy, and it stated that 72% of all homeowners were so dissatisfied with the service that their previous agent gave them that they would not use the same agent that they had used before. Wow. And the main reason stated was poor communication. In other words, the agent overpromised to the seller and then underdelivered on that promise. And we see that time and time again. And one of the things I think is so important that we believe in at Keller Williams is that we have constant masterminds. We bring in top people in the industry that come together, share best practices. It's such a pleasure to have both you and Ryan in our market center to be able to collaborate with other top agents in sharing best practices, sharing systems that work, because we know that our reputation is built one client at a time, but it can be taken away like that if we don't follow through. So I really appreciate our culture, and I think it's very important for the consumer to understand who it is that they're dealing with.
So talk specifically around not just identifying that person, but let's go into the competencies. From your perspective, based on what you've seen, your background in the industry, having had a huge production team and all the things you've done, what are some of the competency areas that a potential consumer should ask about?
Well, the bottom line is, I think the first and most important thing, in my opinion, would be, what system do you use? Like, what are your business systems and practices? That's something that, regardless of whether you're interviewing a real estate agent or you're interviewing an attorney or you're interviewing a doctor, you want to find out what process do they take the patient through or the customer through from the time that they meet them until they actually walk out and become a healthy person.
Similar to a doctor's diagnosis,
no
but
question.
In this case applied to real estate.
That's exactly what it is.
Nice.
So you must understand, what does that look like, and ask the agent to please walk me through that process so I understand how you do business. You'll see very quickly, if you're interviewing other agents, you'll see very quickly who's competent and who's not. That will not be a challenge for you, because what I'm seeing in this industry is such a wide margin between the competent people and the ones that just have no idea how the short sale process works. And it's critically important to make sure that if you are going through a potential short sale, that you have someone that knows what they're doing and has systems in place. So if they can intelligently and articulately walk you through what their systems are, that should give you a pretty good idea if that's the right person for the job for you.
And systems, you don't just necessarily mean technology systems,
Not at all.
but it would include that.
It would
but it
include
would
that.
also be the process of how they approach short sales,
Mhm.
what their general methods are and that type thing,
Absolutely.
who they work with in the transaction.
Yes, yeah, the type of, the experience that they have, the how they negotiate with asset managers, how they go through escalation processes if necessary, just the whole gamut. And again, if you spend enough time with different people, you'll clearly see who rises above compared to other people. It really and truly is night and day.
Right on, right on. Well, just to make reference for you all, to give you more context on this, more than just what Doug's covering, is when he referenced the language and some of how somebody speaks and articulates. You'll remember just a few days ago, I think maybe last Wednesday or Thursday, here on ArizonaShortSaleTV.com, we did a session on listen to your agent and identify the vocabulary that's being used, because you can see really fast, as Doug represented here, you can identify the difference between a seasoned short sales person or negotiator and somebody that really has no clue. And it behooves you as an empowered consumer to get more and better information always, so that you have a more empowered decision.
That's right.
So, you want to leave them with any party comments?
I want to ask a question here.
Sure.
We didn't get to dive in. Give them a little bit of your background. I mean, I was impressed when I met Doug here. You've been with Keller Williams now a little while, and what now, over a year now, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. So I was excited when Doug joined us last summer. But what is your background before you came to this great company?
I have over a 15-year background in sales. I'm still a young guy. I got licensed right out of high school. I was a college student at Illinois State University while I still sold, and built a big team. And really what I did is I just modeled other highly successful people that were in the industry and emulated their best practices. And again, I'm a big proponent of masterminding and not reinventing the wheel. Doesn't matter what profession or what industry we're looking at, it's important to make sure that we find out what the most successful people are doing in whatever industry it is that we're wanting to follow. And I had a pretty good level of success with that. I've had some great mentors in my life as well, and prior to coming in as the CEO of Keller Williams Realty East Valley, just before this, I had the great privilege and pleasure of serving as a Vice President of Business Development for Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes in the Ultimate Business Mastery Summit workshops that we were putting on. So I've had some amazing mentors and a great deal of experience in real estate. So the desire for me to be able to consult and do coaching with people and help people with their businesses, coupled with my experience as a former highly producing real estate agent, building teams with multiple people, was a great fit to have this opportunity to come into this market center. And being in and around this industry as much as I have, there's not another company that I would choose to work with and represent other than Keller Williams.
Right on, right on. Well, he's talked about his background a little bit, Keller Williams, and some of the stuff you did as Vice President with Chet Holmes and Tony Robbins. Well, I'm going to really contribute it and just keep everybody loose here. I'm going to contribute it to the fact that you went to ISU. It's the Redbirds, right?
That's right. That's right. I mean, that's a big background as a Redbird growing up.
Big hoops fan too, so it's exciting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
hey man, we really appreciate you coming in today.
It's my pleasure. Anytime. And
Just in case somebody has an interest, maybe a real estate agent or a consumer that has some more questions, like what you're saying, likes your perspective, would you leave them your phone number or maybe an email where they could call you? And
absolutely. My cell phone directly, 480-302-1213. Again, 480-302-1213. And email Doug Sutton, DOUGSUTTON at KW, as in KellerWilliams.com.
Right on, man. Guys, we appreciate your time today. We appreciate Doug being here. It's exciting, it's empowering, and it's going to change everything for you if you let it. So we'll see you soon. ArizonaShortSaleTV.com, signing off.